we had to address it. How would you recommend going about addressing it?
Well, I think the most positive thing that's come out of this news story is it's made parents take note of the type of language that they're using, because I think particularly with women, but increasingly with men, there's become this unconscious dialogue that we use. We're very self-effacing about our bodies, we make assumptions about what's beautiful and about what's not, and that filters down into our everyday dialogue. Now, children and teenagers, their brains are still developing and they're like sponges, and they're so influenced by their environment that that can then filter through into the way they think and behave.
It's interesting because this teacher isn't saying it's about you saying to your kids, you're a bit fat, stop eating that. It's about how we talk about ourselves in front of them. She says, role model as effectively as you can. It's difficult to advocate a rounded, healthy diet for your teen if you've cut out carbs and dairy yourself or frequently refer to your desire to lose weight. You, Danny, though, you think, actually, we should be talking about diet in front of our kids?
Yeah, I disagree entirely. And I actually think that if a mum is constantly yo-yo dieting, cutting out carbs or following silly diets all the time, that will actually act as a deterrent for their children to follow suit. And I do think that diet is very prevalent in today's society. So let's get up to date with that. Let's educate youngsters about this, because surely educating these young girls cannot be a negative thing.
Now, what I'm hearing in Danny's voice, Natasha, straight away, is this motivational tone, aspirational. She, you know, she wants to preach this gospel to everybody. To enjoy this. So what's the difference? You know, surely you can be motivated by what Danny's saying.
There would be a huge amount that I'm sure that Danny and I would agree on. I don't think that anybody is disputing that encouraging healthy eating and regular exercise is a bad thing, or is a good thing, I should say. What my concern is, if you look at what's happening with funding and prioritising what's happening in schools, the average state school child does 1 hour of PE per week.
Not good enough.
You've also got a lack of nutritional information, a lack of nutrition in school canteens. That is being replaced, as far as I can see, with talking about it, with nutritional information, with lessons on how important it is to exercise. Rather than talking about it, obsessing about it and creating issues psychologically, why are we not just doing it? Why are we not just encouraging these healthy habits through action as families, as communities and in schools?
Yeah, funny, a conversation's coming back to me that I had last week with a group of lads, and I said, they were doing sporting things, and I said, will you keep this up when you're back to school? And they said, no, we have no time. We won't have the time, and that's
community sports centres are being closed down in their droves because of austerity. It's a mixed message.
But this teacher is suggesting that mothers or parents should not discuss diet and body image with their children or teenagers. So I would suggest that what you have said would disagree with that. You are saying that, yes, this should be spoken about, and you're agreeing effectively with what I'm saying. We should educate these youngsters, perhaps bring nutritional lessons into school.
But you have had an eating disorder yourself, haven't you?
I have, absolutely, and that was definitely not influenced by my mother discussing nutrition with me, which, as a matter of fact, she never did. That was influenced by my peers. And that fits with what I'm saying now. These young girls read magazines. You know, if Cheryl Cole came out tomorrow and said, do you know what? I've got back in shape doing the breast milk diet. Every teenager would suddenly jump on the breast milk diet. Do you think you're going to do that if your mum's doing it? Of course you're not.
But it's interesting, there's somebody from Devon who actually won't give their name because of this. It says, I've talked about my weight and diet throughout my daughter's whole life. She's now 22, has been suffering anorexia for 18 months. I blame myself every day. It seems that whatever we do, we talk it. The kids will either rebel against you and do the opposite, or they'll follow their friends or whatever. Actually, we're so obsessed with food.
I just don't think young girls will follow their mums. I don't think their mums are role models at all.
I also think it's really important to be clear about what it is that this head teacher is recommending. She's not saying don't ever talk about healthy eating and exercise. She's saying don't criticise your body in front of your children. And it's really important that we acknowledge that this is a cumulative impact. If every single adult woman around you, be it your teachers, your aunties, your family friends, your mum, is criticising their body, the message that young girls get is that having a prepubescent body is fine, but if they develop, that's a scary thing, and that body insecurity is part and parcel of being an adult woman, and that does feed into eating disordered thinking. It's not helpful for this mother to blame herself. There'll be lots of contributing factors.
But what do you do if your child is exactly the opposite and very big? Right,
I
so
would
what's
say,
the message then?
as a family, you know, one of the healthiest people I know says that in retrospect, she always knew when she was putting on a little bit of weight growing up. So that's something she's only just realised as an adult, because her mum used to say to her, let's go and play a game of tennis. She's only just realised that now, because it wasn't made an issue of, they exercised as a family.
Natasha, Danny, thank you both very much indeed.
You.
Appreciate it.